Welcome back to WCS America Challenger League and to what will soon be game number 3 between Scarlett and Cowman. Cowman is trailing 0-2 right now, saying, I hope this isn't too hard to cast with a smiley face. No, we got mad love for Cowman coming out. Showing some good games. Scarlett's a very difficult opponent. She's won at the highest level against the most difficult of opponents. No shame.
Scarlett writing in chat as well. 15 hatch, 14 gas, 13 pool, Bly build. But we both know it's Ukraine.
It's Ukraine star.
Ukraine star Bly shamelessly took this build from Ukraine star. Ukraine star. Once upon a time spoke the magic words. Oh, it's very hard to stop. You need double gate, double forts, and a lot of cannon.
It was his Cloud Kingdom build.
Yeah, it was a special cloud build where when he also knew when the scout was coming, so he had like all these links on the north side, and then suddenly he's like knock knock. He has like 58 links. He's like
he's pretty good build.
And back then, guys, there was no
double forge.
There was no mothership core, so it was tricky. When you went one gate Stargate, you were in trouble. Single cannon was not enough.
Game number 3, countdown has just begun. We'll be moving on to Yansu for Scarlett versus Cowman. And Scarlett can close it out right here. My money's on Cowman, though. Cowman's going to take one map.
Oh, I'd gladly take a bet.
What odds are you going to give me?
You know, because it's you, Ben, I'll give you 2.5.
Let me just message Scarlett real quick.
Hey.
Work something out. Let's hop in a game for Yansu versus Scarlett. I feel like if I talked to Scarlett about it, she'd hook me up with a little bit of a throw.
StarCraft 2 is too young for another betting scandal. Ben.
My favorite StarCraft 2 betting scandal story was from
oh, the Hoster Cup. Maybe that's too soon as well.
It was amazing. It was Tarson, MC, and MC's manager Minsik at the Home Story Cup. And Tarson made a bet with somebody else that he would win one map against MC. Who did he bet? Maybe it was Momon. Made a bet with somebody else that he would win one map against MC. And this is a time when MC is just dominating the world. And Tarson's like, oh, no, I'll definitely win one map. And somebody takes the bet confidently. And then Tarson goes to MC and Minsik, and he's like, hey, Minsik, I'll give you $1 million Diablo gold if you get MC to throw one game against me. And he did. MC 4-gated and threw one game, and Tarson had to pay $1 million Diablo gold to Minsik. He said he was grinding for months to pay off that debt. So anyway, to the game at hand, bottom left-hand corner of Yansu, the Red Zerg player leading 2-0. It is Scarlett. Her opponent up in the top right-hand corner of the map is the Blue Protoss player. He is trailing, but I believe, Kev, I believe it is the Cowman.
Meanwhile, I have some sound issues. My sound is tripping a little bit, so I'm just going to listen to your PC, Ben, as I feel that your PC is much more reliable than mine. Curious to see what we're going to see on Yangtze. I don't think that's a build that Scarlett will bust out again. It's a good build to mix things in, and it can be very good against greedy Protoss players who, you know, don't open up with a fort, so you don't really get a lot of gateway units and immediately go up to a Stargate or something like that. Either way, Yangtze is a pretty good map for a lot of 2-base Protoss builds, because you can use that high ground near the zone like a watchtower to, you know, as a staging ground where you can get your Python down and then just keep warping in units. We will see. I wouldn't mind seeing Cowman do something aggressive, because I feel in both previous games he was trying to open up. I mean, on the habitation station he showed signs of aggressiveness, but that's kind of like predicted aggression when you know play against Gaslit. Like, oh, let me warp in some gateway units and put on some pressure. But if you don't really commit to it, it doesn't really count.
Cowman cancels his building Zealot and throws down his Nexus as quickly as he can for the nice early 1-gate expansion. Scarlett has gone hatch first and is staying gasless for the time being. This is the style that we know her for. Can't believe she's trying to give Bly credit for the Ukraine star build.
Yeah,
this is
that
unforgivable.
upsets me a little bit as well.
You guys need to tweet at Scarlett and let her know that that's definitely a Ukraine star special, and to give credit where credit is due.
And Bly will confirm this. There is no way that Bly will take credit for Ukraine star special build.
Did the Ukraine star beat Bly at that tournament, the Ukraine Championship? That was back before WCS was regionalized like it is now. Right, that was that event, right? Ukraine star finished like top 4.
But like you were not there, right?
Correct. You were casting it with White Raw or something.
Yeah, and Hazu ups and stuff. I think or KLRs. But how did you know about it? Did I tell you about it?
Because we laughed about it for months.
Yeah, I know, so I guess I told you the story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it must have been like the Ukrainian championship. Bly did it indeed finish top 2. And I think Bly won it maybe, and Wydra finished second. Something like that. I don't know. Ukraine side did okay. He had special build.
Special build.
Yeah, I guess it was the Ukraine and Russian Federation finals. Either way, we're drifting off a little bit too far. We see 4 gateway opening once more for Cowman, so he's going to try to do the same thing as before.
Ling.
But he showed a sentry. Oh, there is a single link still in the main. Squeeze through.
It's going to spot this 4th gateway.
So once more, Scarlett will most likely not underreact and throw down that second spine crawler as well. And then she should be in really good shape once more. Like, I've tried this a lot lately myself, man, and I really thought that this is something that you can punish, but don't get fooled.
I like how Scarlett stays on 2 bases for so long. If there was a 3rd hatchery somewhere, this would be easily punished by
yeah, of course,
the 4-gate attack. But
even against like the 2 base, I thought that you were able to punish it, or the 2 base one, because you know at the end of the day, like no gas is no gas, and that means no speed, and that means that you can out micro units. But because they get that first creep tumor down so quickly, at least they will be able to maneuver a little bit around the edge of that creep, and then they have spine crawlers to fall back on. And at the end of the day, when a Protoss player opens up like this, it's not very economic, and you also slow down your additional attack pretty far. Scarlett might actually be able to get this spine in there.
She's going to shut it right down. And yeah, this gasless queen style has been good for a long time, man. I remember way back in the day. And actually, it looks like Cowman's going to push up into the natural of Scarlett, so you're not going to get to hear my story. 3 queens, 4 spine crawlers waiting for the attack, and Cowman realizing
it's not going to work.
That it's probably not going to go down that way. So
I mean, Scarlett only has 8 Zerglings, but you know, Transfuse represents so much extra HP, and Scarlett could always pull a few drones. And you don't really want to throw away all these Zealots, even though Zealots are perhaps not the most useful units in a certain phase in the game. Throwing them away also makes things a lot harder, like securing a 3rd base, for instance.
Now, while this is happening, Cowman is very stubbornly chrono boosting probes, trying to get his worker count up to a comparable spot. Right now he finds himself on 39 probes against 41 drones, so that's not all that bad. It's 2 bases to 2 bases, so
the only thing that Scarlett does have going for herself is that AC always has these spines to fall back on. I mean, it's nice to have them. It's not then like a wasted investment by any means. And she also has double Evo chamber in her main base. So if you're even on workers, but you're actually on double Evo, let's not forget those Evos are basically drones. And she already has those upgrades going for herself. That's once more a pretty good scenario for Scarlett. Also, Cowman is not away out of this hatch. He's going to find it right now, though. He might be able to force a cancel.
Probably force a cancel. The queens and Zerglings by themselves, I don't think are going to be enough here. And Time Warp could definitely make it further difficult. Scarlett realizes that this isn't something that she can hold, and she's just going to cancel that.
You think Cowman is going to follow this all up with an Immortal all-in? Or how many processes? He has 45.
Yeah, I'm not sure there, Kev. I really don't know what I think. Scarlett realizing that she doesn't want to fight until 1-1 is finished, and also realizing that it is very near completion, is going to go ahead and engage. Time Warp is going to go down.
Infestation Pit going down for Scarlett as well. She often has amazing fungals.
Man, that upgrade is like taunting Scarlett. But as soon as it finishes, I guarantee you we're going to see her pick a fight. 1-1 is just seconds away. Now it's done, and Scarlett is going to dive right in. And, oh, man, move command on the Zealots makes it even more one-sided than it had to be, as Scarlett crushes those Zealots and gobbles up that 1,000 mineral plus donation made by the Cowman.
During all this, did this Zealot able to force another cancel on the hatch, or did she never retake it?
No, she never rebuilt it. The drone's kind of just chilling out.
I was like, whoa, how did that happen?
Scarlett took a different 3rd base and might even be considering taking a 4th base. Has really swollen her Zergling count up to 42.
3 more gateways going down for Cowman makes me feel like
it will be an Immortal all-in.
Like he wants to go for Immortal all-in, but against Fungal is going to be very hard to pull it off. Above all, I think by the time that the fight really starts, 2-2 might even be ready. Even though like 150 seconds looks like it's very far off. Scarlett is the queen of just buying time for herself with counterattacks and like forcing a few defensive warp-ins and like baiting out force fields early on, but then not really committing to the fight. She's just so good with that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. As Cowman's going to push forward to the Zelnaga tower. Not going to see much. Scarlett checks to see, okay, yep, definitely no 3rd base, so it's time to counterattack. And Cannon's not even built yet, so this counter could do some serious damage. This wall's going to get ripped down.
Let's not forget these are 1-wall links. They actually take down gateways at pretty quick as well. A single cannon is not going to be enough. Now she already forced 4 defensive sentries, and that might not even be enough. She's so good with this kind of stuff.
Oh, cannon actually is not going to fall, and Scarlett is going to be pressed back. She sees these units on her creep, and she's like, all right, you know what? I don't want to chance it. This could be very dangerous. Infestors are popping out.
Look at all these spine crawlers. She can have infestors on the high ground and drop fungal.
Yep, I think that's exactly what we're going to see.
Fungal from downtown. It's good, man.
Lings are going to continue running across the map to threaten counterattacks.
That's a lot of Zerglings.
That is a ton of Zerglings, and you're going to see a gateway falling pretty soon here. Meanwhile, fungal from downtown is exactly what's happening in the natural expansion of Scarlett. Some Zerglings are going to run home. Just chain fungal crushing these gateway units. Recall being forced as Cowman is going to abort mission, recalling just in time to defend these Zerglings, and now finds himself in a horrific spot. Scarlett is going up to Hive, Kev. 2-2 is going to be done, and Ultras are not too far of an afterthought.
The only thing that Cowman sort of has going for himself is that Scarlett was actually kind of low on drones for a very long amount of time, especially because he made so many spines and stuff as well. But let's not underestimate Larva and Jack now, shall we? So
yeah, and beyond that, this is a unit composition that does not require a big economy. Scarlett can easily maintain.
I mean, the moment he wants to get Ultralisk as well, then he's gonna need a few more drones. This might actually be a fantastic fight for Scarlett as well. Fungal lands on top of everything. These Zerglings have 2-2 upgrades. Fungal should be able to pick up all these sentries, and then the remaining Zerglings might be able to pick up those Immortals as well.
That's going to probably do it for Cowman, as more Fungals are going to go down. And Cowman's hopes of taking a single map look like they are quickly dwindling. Hive's finishing up. Scarlett doesn't end the game there, but as we can see is...
traded minerals. Look at the units lost resource tab. That's some efficiency as well.
Yeah, great job there from Scarlett. And we've got to realize the only thing she's really lost have been Zerglings. It's been a lot of Zerglings to add up to that kind of resource count, but
still, just Zerglings.
Realistically, she hasn't really given up any gas this game. As Cowman is going to try to do something with a Warp Prism. He's trying to get his third base. Scarlett's dropping a Spire and an Ultralisk Cavern at the same time.
I would have preferred to see a few sentries in that main, because when behind, try to force the Zerg out of his main.
There you go. That's actually not a terrible point, but...
yeah, even that, like these 4 Zealots, there are even a couple of spines in main, because Scarlett has been making so many spines throughout the entire game that C had plenty of opportunity to just, you know, spine in the main, spine in the natural, probably a spiner here and there.
Oh, really cute control on the Warp Prism, surrounds the Queen and manages to pick it off. So that's a nice little micro trick shown there from Cowman, but unfortunately it's painfully apparent that there is no hope of any other damage being dealt here. This Warp Prism is going to be fungal to death. The Zealots will unload and die to Zerglings, and the Queen shoots down.
Hey, the good news is that in that previous engagement, like all the sentries died, but the Immortals didn't die. So Cowman is up to 5 Immortals. He's definitely going to need something that's good against these Zerglings as well. He has Templar Archive. Storm is being researched right now. With Storm and Immortal Ban, I believe he can kill unlimited amounts of Zerglings and
supplies are also surprisingly close, 130 to about 110. Now, Zerglings make that very deceptive, but there's only 30 Lings out on the map. 30 Lings and 12 Infestors. The entire army of Scarlett. She is producing Ultras, as we see some...
She is going to have massive upgrades as well. So Ultra... Guidance plating, it's called, just +2 armor is being researched as well. The 3-3 is on the way from the Evo Chambers. And... lots of fungal as well helps it out, making it a little easier for these Ultras to stand on top of this Protoss army. Overall, just everything is looking very, very good for Scarlett. But you know, I've seen crazy throws with Ultra Ling. Like, it's a very scary unit composition, but it also needs the right engagement. You can't like trying to wiggle your way through a few gateways, because then Immortal can just hammer away at Ultralisk, or Storm can land all over the Zerglings. So Scarlett has to be a little bit careful, but she's still in absolutely fantastic position. Especially, which I didn't even see, with this greatest Spire on the way.
That's the nail in the coffin. Scarlett's not just going to go all in with Zerglings and Ultras. She's also going to be supporting it with Broodlords.
And that creep spread. I mean, it gets a little old to talk about Scarlett's creep spread, because we all know it's fantastic, but this is not a pretty sight if you play Protoss. This is a very scary... Like, this is how bad engagements happen if you play Protoss. And this is why I have 35% in this matchup.
Yeah. Scarlett spreads creep like no other. No doubt about it. It's like beating a dead horse, but it has to be said. Absolutely every part of this map covered in purple. Ling's going to catch some Zealots out in the open, so Cowman's harassment squad's going to get shut down before it ever even really gets started. And, I don't know, man.
This is going to be an ugly fight. If you're a Protoss player, close your eyes.
Yo!
You don't
Single
want to
flanking Ultralisk. I got this, bros.
Lots of fungo going down. Broodlords are on their way. They're almost here, and then it's just painful. Then I don't want to watch you do the casting.
Here we go. Scarlett's gonna come crashing in. Ultras and Zerglings and Broodlords. Oh my! And oh yeah, there's about 12 Infestors in the mix. On top of it all, good game, well played. Scarlett closed it out 3-0. Cowman's gonna go down, but thanks to him.
Is it over, Daddy?
For showing us some good games. Tough luck there for the Cowman. Great play from Scarlett, who cinches her spot in the Premier League and gets us into our 4th best 5 before 7 p.m. So thanks, Scarlett.
Yeah, that was a great series by Scarlett, and of course, it's no surprise to see Scarlett make it through Premier League. That's awesome news for us as well, which allows us to cast her more in the future. What I do really wonder, like this series leaves me with a feeling against these like these 4 Queens openings with a delayed extractor. What is the best thing to do if you are a Protoss player? Because it seems like just making a few gateways, you know, that's going to delay your potential targets, going to delay your Twilight, going to delay your Robo. It's something that I've been a little lost about lately, and I really wonder how we're going to see pros.
Zerg cannot get aggressive with no gas. It's absolutely impossible. So Protoss can be as greedy as Protoss wants to be too. If you think back to the early days when we were seeing this no gas style in Zerg versus Terran, we always said that the best thing Terran can do is build a 3rd command center. I don't know if Protoss can get away with a super greedy 3rd base, but maybe they can. I mean,
and maybe it's a little harder for Zerg to scout as well on certain maps, because might be able to go Overlord hunting. But I guess the moment they see a Stalker, it's all going to be different. Either way, I think it's a really interesting change, and I'm curious to see where players are going to take this, because it seems like Zergs are just so prepared, or like so ready to face that like semi-gateway aggression of 4 gates over a relatively low Protoss economy, that they will always get those spines and they always have their queens in the right position. They are not silly anymore by losing the queen immediately. That it's almost like they welcome it, because that means like, okay, hey, you know, you're going to be on a quite low economy. That also means that your potential follow-up tech is going to be a lot later. Like, for instance, maybe a 1-gate Twilight and then really quick blink, and that as a follow-up would hit a lot harder.
Going around the spine crawlers is always good. I also think that the old Greatorp 7-minute 3rd base might be a perfect thing to try there.
We might get an answer to some of our questions, as our next series is going to be another PvT between the Chinese Protoss player Top and our new American adopted Zerg hope Violet.
Yeah, Violet's living in Atlanta now. He's whoa, Violet's living in Atlanta now. He needs to go check out my boys at Battle and Brew. If the Battle and Brew guys are watching, I'll pass it on to Violet that there's an awesome LAN that happens there once a month. I hope you're still doing your StarCraft tournament. If you're not, let me know.
I follow the chef from the Battle and Brew on Twitter.
Yeah?
He tweets lots of random things. It's this awesome little local land cafe in Atlanta.
It's great, man. I love Battle and Brew. Shout out to those guys for watching. We're going to take a short break. When we get back, it's going to be Top versus Violet. Don't go anywhere, guys. You're still watching WCS America Challenger League.